Okay guys, so have you all ever wondered exactly why will there be a wealth transfer? And what will all that money be for? Well, I can tell you all this. Everything that Yah does is for a purpose. And you need only look to the past, to like Joseph and Moses. You know, every time Yah places someone in such high levels of authority and power, it's to carry out his will. Is to do things that is well beyond the people themselves, well beyond you. It will be greater than me and you. That's one of the reasons why he will bless us with the wealth transfer. It is for his glory. And I can tell you this for certainty. The money from the wealth transfer will be to make safe havens in preparation for the 3 days of darkness. Now, I know that there's a great deal of people out there who do not believe that there will be a 3 days of darkness. But for you guys, let's say for your sakes that there isn't, or there will not be a 3 days of darkness, right? Wouldn't it be nice if you could build a house or make another location where you could go in case the government plans to get up and create another so-called virus? You would have somewhere else to go that would satisfy your recreational needs, because the last time it caught everyone off guard and a lot of people weren't prepared. So you were forced to be confined to your living quarters, some of which you guys, you weren't very comfortable at all. You weren't prepared. But this time you'd be properly prepared, because I remember myself, I dreamed that I had at least a swimming pool where I could go and, take some diving or swimming in the heat of the day during the lockdowns. And I didn't have it. I was just imagining it or watching it on my cell phone. So for you guys who don't believe, I say that's wisdom. There's no way you could come into that amount of cash without making preparation for the beast's next engineered pandemic or whatever it is that they're planning. And that's for you guys who don't believe that there's a 3 days of darkness. But for the others, like myself, I know that there's a 3 days of darkness that's coming, and it will be formidable. And woe to anyone who is not and who will not make the necessary preparations for it. Because in fact, whenever the wealth transfer occurs, it will be a proximate sign of just how close the 3 days of darkness will be. So it is a sign of how near we will be to the 3 days of darkness whenever the wealth transfer occurs, because they're connected, you see. And that's actually one of the main reasons why Yah is pouring out this financial blessing, is to make preparations. I'm not saying it's not for us to enjoy ourselves a little bit. Yes, don't let anyone tell you otherwise. The wealth transfer is for you to take very good care of yourself. You see, just for you guys to live a little bit. If it's even a little bit, you're going to live. You're going to enjoy yourselves. But more importantly, you need the wisdom to steward the wealth and know what exactly it is for. The main purpose, which is to build the safe havens, which are like modern day arks. And this topic of the safe havens is too big for me to mention everything that's involved in this very short video. It would take multiple videos to go into all the details involved in the safe havens. So I'm just going to go over just a few pointers of things that you might want to get, and the knowledge that you need to know whenever it comes to your safe havens. Now, first thing you need to know is you want to build your safe havens away from rivers, from lakes, away from the oceans. I know that many of you guys probably live near the oceans right now. I mean, that's fine for now. But when that time comes, you don't want to be anywhere near the rivers, lakes, or oceans, because there's going to be a lot of water displacement, and you don't want to be anywhere near those. The next thing is you're going to want to build your safe havens away from major fault lines. Make sure that you're clear from the major fault lines, guys. And that right there is a no-brainer. The next most important thing is that the safe havens, I would think all of them, are to be built on mountaintops. Preferably mountains that has plateaus. the flat topped mountains. Pretty much like I know of one safe area in the United States that has a lot of these plateaus and is actually a safe haven. This entire location in the United States is one of several other safe havens that I know of. Now, I'm not saying that I know of others. This is one that I know of in the United States, and that's the Arkansas, Missouri Ozarks. And that's like a 50,000 kilometers square miles worth of land up there in the Ozarks in Arkansas, Missouri. And that is a safe haven. It's going to be one of many safe havens. And that is well beyond the reach of the oceans. Whenever the time comes for the mega tsunamis, everyone who prepares themselves and go to those locations will be safe from the mega tsunamis. And in due season, the glory of God will come down upon these safe havens, and they will be protected from everything, from the elements and several other things that will be happening in the days of tribulation. People live at different places around the world. You're going to have to go to the Lord and ask him to lead you to which mountains, because not necessarily every mountain is going to be safe. So you're going to want to have to go to the Lord and ask him to lead you to the mountain, or a mountain where you can build such a safe haven. Because like I said, you're not thinking only of yourself. You're thinking of yourself, your family, and others that Yah may lead to this location. You have to think bigger. Okay, guys? So on these safe havens, this compound, these properties that you guys are going to purchase, like I forgot to mention that there's cheap land up there in the Arkansas, Missouri Ozarks. I think it's around 50K. The last time I checked, you can get land up there for around 50K, which is not bad if you ask me, considering the purpose that it's going to serve. Now, back to whenever you're building your safe haven on the mountaintops, right? You're going to get a decent sized property, because you're going to be thinking of making this property completely, or if not, as much as possible, self-sustaining, which means that you don't want to be depending on the beast at all for anything, if possible. So you're going to try to have your own water storage, containment equipment. You can think of probably hydroelectric options. You can think of definitely solar powered options, maybe even wind turbines. It's all up to you. Perhaps the wind turbines may be a little bit conspicuous. It may give away the location. You might want to even take that into consideration, depending on where you're building this safe haven. The decision would be up to you. But these are just a few options. Solar powered, wind turbines, hydroelectric, which has to do with water generated electricity. So these are just a few options. Then you want to think of rearing your own animals on the land, at least a couple of them, probably chickens or pigs, goats, if possible. Again, you want to make it as self-sustaining as possible. And that is one of the reasons why the wealth transfer is coming. That's one of the reasons why we're getting that cash, is to build our modern day ark, the modern day arks. You see, so I'm just giving you some ideas so that you may have an understanding of, where we're going and what we're supposed to do as the body of Christ globally. You see, this money is not just to blow away into meaninglessness. No. And the Lord's not going to just get up and give us all of this money for no reason. He has a purpose in doing everything. And one of the main reasons is to build the safe havens, guys. And this is very important because, as I've said before, woe to anyone who will not prepare themselves for this coming 3 days of darkness. Because I've seen this 3 days of darkness, guys, and it will be formidable. Many people don't believe. And many of you guys do believe, because why? Yah has shown it to you. You have seen it like myself, and I've seen it many times. Yeah, so these are some of the things that you guys might want to consider. Now, another thing is Joseph. We're modern day Josephs, right? Now, what did the first Joseph did? This is what he did in order to save Egypt and his people. He first stored food. That's what he did. And we're going to do the same thing. He stored and managed food. He regulated food. And we're going to do the same thing, guys. So on these facilities as well, we're going to think about food storage. And when you hear about food storage, I'm thinking about, like for us today, containers, modified containers. I'm talking about the trailer containers, those 58-foot trailer backs. Modify them, store food, various different types of foodstuff within these modified trailers on those properties. Because why? Why are we storing food? What am I talking about? Because guys, the wicked ones are going to create a famine. They've already started it with COVID-19, the beast, because he's all behind it, you see, him and his cohorts. They are going to create an even bigger famine. All of these geophysical upheavals are going to make food all the more scarce. And they're literally are going to poison the food. They have already started poisoning food globally. And they're just going to increase their wicked agenda and their activities. So we have to be way ahead of them, guys. You see, they're engineering a food crisis. So we want to be ahead of them. So this is what we're going to do with that money as well. We're going to modify containers. This is the way I'm thinking. Modify containers and start storing various different types of food, flour, rice, etc. Like I said, this video, we can't talk about everything in detail. It's just going to be too much to talk about. I'm just giving you a rough idea of everything. So we're going to have to learn how to store even the meat as well in the glass. I've seen several videos on YouTube here of how to store meat in glass to preserve it for up to a year. Perhaps we'll do that as well, the meat, but that's like for another video, I guess. But guys, if this guy, the beast, he created this movie here, Leave the World Behind, right? But if the beast himself produced and created this movie, which is called Leave the World Behind, in which he's showing that it is very important to prepare for the fallout, for the aftermath of nuclear war or whatever global catastrophe. It is very important to prepare bunkers, food, etc. If he himself, who is the beast, knows this, because as you guys can see, he's showing this in his movies. If he knows this, how much more should the church, the light of the world, know and should be planning on doing the very same thing? We should be ahead of him. We should know this even more than him, because wisdom lives within us. And he's literally showing people what is coming and showing them that's what he's doing. He's telling them that, listen, you guys need to prepare, because if you don't, you will die. It's as simple as that. You will starve to death. So this should be on our itinerary. Now, I know that whenever the wealth transfer has occurred, many of us are going to be moving, including myself. And the places that we're going to be moving may not necessarily be on that safe haven piece of land. You see, it may be different places. But regardless of that, while we are wherever we are, we should be thinking about building our safe haven at the same time, or very near after we have settled into our new location. That should be one of our main projects. So we can live wherever we are. Some of you guys may be living on the outskirts of the city. I know that I'm going to be on the mountaintops regardless. Even if it's not on the safe haven, I'm going to be on the mountaintops because I love a view, you see. So I'll definitely be on the sides of the mountain somewhere. And while I'm there, I'll be thinking about, I think I already have an idea of where to build this safe haven. It's in my heart. I have an idea. I think Yah has pointed out a place for me to build such a place. And I'm telling you, it's high on top of the mountaintops. I wonder if I could mention the name here. may not be wisdom to mention that. We have to be very wise. As far as the location, we have to be discreet. We can't share that publicly, you see, because in the end times, we're going to have to come up with codes to speak to each other, to find out who is of the kingdom of God, who is our brother or genuine brother and sister in the Lord, because there are going to be a plethora of this, deceiving entities. Now we have even AI, and AI even creating, quite literally human bots. They're tampering with fetuses, with the AI and all of this. And you know what's going to come from that? Humanoid bots. So it's going to be all the more deceptive. You see, we're going to have to come up with something, probably, beginning like a Bible verse, and have the other person to finish the Bible verse to confirm that, they're truly of Yah or something. We're going to have to get creative, guys, in the end times here. But yeah, while you guys are wherever you are, some of you have already, picked out places that you want to live, and that's fine. That's completely fine. While you're there, you should be also thinking of building this other place on a mountaintop, this other safe location where you will think about building and preparing your safe haven. So that if anything happens, you can immediately leave wherever you live with your family and go over there. It should be built as soon as possible and ready for whenever anything occurs. So now you guys know what the money from the wealth transfer is for. Aside from giving money to the poor, aside from you guys taking very good care of yourselves and living just a little, oh, you guys are going to live. You guys are going to celebrate. You guys are going to enjoy yourselves like you never could before. Oh, yes, definitely. You're going to be stewards, just like Joseph was a steward. And you're going to steward food. You're going to manage, you're going to store and manage food, just like Joseph did as well, because there's coming a famine. And last, but most certainly, because we can't live without it, not the least, you guys are going to store water. Water is going to be like, I can't even compare it to anything because it's life. That's a term that we all know. Water is life. And in these end times, it's even right there in the Bible. The water is going to be poisoned. The beasts have already started poisoning the water. Plus, there's going to be other events that's going to occur. Meteor showers that's going to fall in the lakes and rivers, and it's going to be poisoned. So you guys are definitely going to want to think about water storage. There's plenty of information on that on the internet as well, how to build water treatment facilities so that you may have water for the long term. There's plenty of that, but you guys think about that as well. To store and to hold water on your compound where the safe havens are. So this was just some ideas that I wanted to share with you guys of the things that you might want to have and to think about in terms of the wealth transfer. And I also wanted you guys to know as well that the money that is coming, it is primarily for making preparations for the 3 days of darkness and the coming of the Lord. Preparing for hard times, for the global famine that is coming. That's what the money is for. It's not for the whole of it. It's not for you to blow the whole of it partying or wasting it on, meaningless things. No. It is to prepare for the end times, prepare for the coming of the Lord, prepare not only for yourselves, but for your family, loved ones, and whichever sheep that Yah may lead to you, who will need help in the coming hard times coming our way. Now, that is all that I wanted to share with you guys for this video. May the Lord continue to bless and keep you all. I love you all. From your brother in Christ. Peace. Shalom. Until next time.